Hello guys. Welcome to the mobile stream. What's up? How you doing? How you doing guys? How you doing? So I'm here again. Let me uh, all right. I'm pinning this repo of the code base that I'm working on the chat. It's open source, so you guys can download it and check out what I'm doing. So let's wait to get some audience and then I'll start what I did on today's desktop stream along with some other things as well. We'll learn about JWT, JSON Web Token, uh, how we implement that in Rust. What is a JSON Web Token? Like how many parts there are in JSON Web Token? What does it takes to create a JSON Web Token? And all of these things, and we'll see how we can create a JSON web token implementation in Rust. And yeah, and we'll also see how we can use that web token on our API request so that we can validate that thing. All right, amazing. We have a like. That is good. Amazing. That is good. So guys, please make sure to like this stream. Let's see if we can take this stream uh, to 20 likes. I'll just wait for a few more guys. Say hi on the chat, guys. Say hi on the chat. I'm posting my GitHub. Oh, sorry, my Discord server as well, so that you guys can join that. Maybe I should, post it in description. Let's see. Let me check if I can do that. Edit. Okay. So on the channel, on this live description, you can see my Discord URL as well. Great, we have 2 likes. Come on, guys. So we'll start it after 5 likes. Come on, let's gain some audience. Come on, guys. You can share this thing with your friends. You can also follow me on GitHub. It's pinned on chat. And we need 3 more likes to get this thing started. Come on. Anyways, let's not wait. I think we should do it. Okay. So what is a JWT? What is a JWT token? So it stands for JSON Web Token. If I do simple search like if I do a simple thing like JWT, let's see what we get. So it says JSON web token. So it looks like this. This is a JSON web token. It has three parts, if you can see. The first one green, then a dot. If I may, you can see. The first one is green, then a dot, then this thing, then a dot, and then this thing. So it means that JSON web token is comprising of three things, right? First, second, and third. And what are those? Let's see. Decoded header. So the first one is the header. The second one is the payload, the actual payload where we store our claims. Uh, and in that claims, we can store the some user identifier, right? Kind of state, and we can store when the token will expire, its expiration time, issued thing, who issued this thing, like this. We have a subject, that is an kind of ID. We have a name, admin, it's a role, issued at, it's a timestamp. No. SSH, no. JWT. So it's like that. And the third part is signature. So you understand, the first part is header. Header has all the information about like which algorithm it's using. Is it SHA 256 or something like that? What is the type? It's JWT. So basically JWT is what it uses is called, let me just tell you, it's OAuth. So it's a protocol. It's an industry standard protocol for authorization, right? It has access token, refresh token, scopes, grants, authorization code, and many more things. So JSON web token is it's a different thing, but a JWT token is used as a part of authentication layer. So it has three things like this. The first one is header, which is store information about the algorithm that is being used. The second one is the payload, and third one is the that maintains its integrity of the payload, right? It's about the key that it used. So as you can see, the payload is one this where we can store all our information. One thing to note over here is we don't store any secure information over here that should be hidden from the people, because you see, as I have the as soon as this payload gets out, this token, this JWT token is exposed. They can come, any attacker can come on this kind of website and paste it over here and get the details, right? I'm getting the details over here posted over there, and I can get it over here. So we should not we should not store all the secrets and all over here. The third one is a secret, it's a signature. All right, so from these three things the JWT token will be formed. Now why do we need it? We need as an authentication layer. So as soon as we request or query our server, we need to have this token passed on the authentication header. So the most recommended and most secure place where you can store this token on the client side is on HTTP only cookie, header cookie. So we are going to store there, and with every request we'll read that header from that request, and we'll decode this token, and we'll see if the token is by a user. So this token has all the role. So let's say we have a protected route that only admins can access, but if a user with a role guest are trying to access that thing, that request will have that token, and that token will tell about its role and its scope, whether it should access a protected route or not. All right, so this is the JWT token. Now the thing is, how do we implement it on Rust? So just like Node.js and other things, we also have a crate that is called crates.io, and we have a crate here called JSON web token. We are going to use it. All right, we'll install it, and you see it has a information about the claim struct that we have to create. like all this thing, audience, expiration time, issued at, issued by, not before, and the subject. The header, it says header, the default algorithm is HS 256, which is a shared secret. So like this. And it also provide a method called encode, which creates a token. I will see that in a second. So we need to pass all the three things that are required to create a token: a header, a claims, that is our payload, and the encoding key, the signature. All right. And this secret will be a very intense, long, and hard secret that should be stored in our env file. All right. So let's go on the code and see how we implemented that thing today on our stream, on our desktop stream. So if I go inside this thing in it, what I did, I created another scope called users, and I will bind all the service related to the user inside this scope users. So I'll have a register, I'll have login, I'll have profile, and all that will go inside this users. All right. So as you know, scope is something where if all the routes they belong to a specific scope, or they have something common as a prefix, we'll use scope there. So Actix-web provide a function called service, and we can pass scopes in it, just like we have passed a scope called API v1. So every API will have a prefix of API slash v1, that is versioning, right? So if I want to pass another scope, or let's say I updated my versioning, I'm using v2, then I'll create another scope called v2, and all the API that belongs to v2 will go inside it. For now it's API v1. I have a service, I have a resource like this. Now here I have a scope as well. So inside API v1, I will also have a scope called users. So all the API, all the routes that belong to that users umbrella will go inside this thing, will go inside this scope, right? So what I did was I created a register. Binding a lot of information will make each request bulky, don't you think? No. So these, it's not a lot of request. It's a standard protocol to pass token on the authentication header, and to pass and to attach that the decoded. Hello Aryan. Yes, we met again. So it's a standard thing to attach, instead of modifying the request, you attach the decoded value onto the request. That we did cover also, but I'll cover it again if you want. But no, I mean, we have payload, right? We have a request that contains huge payload, and if you check some already established well companies, whatever you open, you just go on the network tab and see their request, see how bulky it is. So yeah. Hmm. That token is, see, that's what I'm saying. You should not attach everything on that token, right? It only has some subject and a expiry time. That's it. And issuer details. That's it. Hello, Vipul. It's Rust. Make sure to like this stream, guys. Yeah. So the request will not be bulky. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Uh, you only need some. So that payload will only have an identifier about that request and that role. It's not bulky. It tells about the request. So it's a necessary thing. And once you have a user id and its role on the hello guru on the request, you can access on the authentication middleware. Once you decoded the token, it's Actix-web framework. Once you decode that token on the auth middleware, you can have details fetched from the database by using that id from the token, and you can attach that thing on the request. So it's not it will not make it a bulky request, don't worry. So yes, I'll show you. If I go on main, yes, it's Actix-web framework, and I'm using Rust. Okay, got it. Is Actix on async? Yes, 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 sir. No, Rahul, yo, it's not Node, it's Rust. If I go on main file, you can see I have created an middleware called authenticate request. Yeah. So if I go inside it, you can see I have this thing over here. So here, few things that needs to be implementation. Holy cow! Uh, so this thing needs to be placed. I will fetch request headers. I will fetch the auth token from it. I'll remove the bearer part from it. Remove the bearer, that prefix bearer, and then I'll have a token. Then I'll use the decode method, and I will get the details like this, a user ID. Now here it's up to me that if I can, based on that user and that role, I was thinking about to learn Rust. How should I start? I start with the Rust official language book along with some other websites to train, like Rust links or exorcism. And then if you have anything similar going on your other projects like Node, that server, try to replicate that thing. That's what I did. I mean, so yeah. So we need 15 more likes, people. Come on. We have 34 people watching. That is amazing. That is, audience is amazing. And I think we can get, if each one of you will have a like, then we will get up to 20 very quickly. Okay, so here now it's up to the user that what does extension mute do. Oh, great. That is some good thing. Extensions mute. So what I did, you see, modifying a request should not be permissible, because you should not you should avoid this thing to modify request. Instead, you should attach it to the request, and Actix-web provide a collection called extensions. It's a key value. It's a kind of map. So what you need to do is you need to get the mutable reference of that thing, of the extensions container, that collection. So extensions mute does that, and once you have that mutable reference to that collection, you can insert it a user wrapped around the arc, so that it gets shared or transferred between the threads. It's so that it would be a thread safe technically. I do backend in Python, Fast API, and SQL Alchemy. Aryan, I'm bored with the backend. That's why I don't do anything like this in Rust. I don't do anything with Rust. Okay. So if you are bored with backend, then you can try some game development. I don't know. There is a library. There is a in Rust. You can do game development with that. So you can do that. So parapsychic, this is what extension mu do. Wouldn't it be better to have the user ID in the request context instead of this? No, it's just a way to show how to attach things to request. So you will have user ID on your JWT token. Then you can attach other details to the. So it was only a way to show how to attach Bevy. Yes, 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 Bevy. So you can do that thing. So instead of so that's what I'm saying. You should avoid modifying a request. You should attach items to request. So if you attach user ID onto the request extension, you can easily get it on the controller. You just need to get that extension, something like that, and you will have your user ID. But the main thing is you should avoid modifying the request. That is the main purpose of this extension thing over here. Avoid modifying the request. You should not modify the request, basically. Attach those things to request. Otherwise, you know, yeah, I mean, yeah. So this is what our authenticate request does. You will have user ID. That's what I hard coded over here. You will have it on from your JWT token. Then you can attach this thing to the. Maybe you can attach the other things as well. So you don't need to pass it every time from the client which user is requesting this thing. So it's the like the backend first development. So instead of passing everything from the client, in a payload. It's in this thing. uh-huh. Let's close this thing. Let's go over here. Yes, so I created this thing called register. It's a route post and the handler is register user. Let's go inside register user. Yeah, now on the register user I have a payload, as you can see, registered user. So what I'll do on the postman, if I go over here, register user, and I'll go for body, you can see I'm passing this thing. I'm registering a user with a username, with a secret address, and a user login. Which ID is this? Neovim. Yes, backend driven development is the safest approach. Yes. Hello Rudra, it is Neovim. Right, so I'm passing this thing from the user, so it is replicating a register query from the client. So I'll have, let's say I'll have a form that has a username, that has a secret, that has a user login, and that has an address. Of course this secret will be sent encrypted. We can use some kind of encryption library, and we'll use that same key to encrypt, and that we will also save it on our backend so that we can decrypt. Okay, so this is a raw password you are seeing over here, but it should not be raw password. It should be an encrypted string, and that string will be decoded on the server. All right, so I'm passing a username, a secret, a user login, and an address. Now when I query the database, I have it as a payload. As you know that how do we access the payload? We'll have Actix-web JSON and a register user struct to type matching this thing, a username, secret, user login, and an address. And an address. Now here I'll have a pool, this thing I'll return something that is common. Okay, now user repo, user registration. All right, this is a user registration thing. What I'll do, it will insert the data on the back end, but for now I'm returning a user ID. Let's say everything has been done, a user is inserted, and the last inserted record, that the ID that is inserted is 1, and it gets returned. Now I have this thing, user response. Now what I'm doing, see, I created a utility function called generate jot token. All right, so generate jot token, I'll pass a user res inside it. So when I go inside it, I can see a user generate jot token and a user ID that it is taking as a parameter. I'm fetching the encoding key from the env. All right, I'm creating an expiration time now plus duration days of 2. I'm making it for like 2 days expiry, and the timestamp it will return I64. So that's where I created a type struct called claims. Here I will have a subject that is a user ID, expiration time, an audience, issuer, and an issued at. What is the need to encode the password on front end? Isn't int all the request body and headers going to be encrypted over st? See, yes, it is going to be encrypted over https, but what I'm saying is, if you check the passwords payload, if you open a network tab and see your payload, you can see the password. Yes, it is encrypted over the network, but it will just add an extra layer of security. If you don't want to do that, it's up to you. I always do that. I make sure to encrypt sensitive things on the both side. Encrypt on the front end, send that encryption over https, and then decrypt on the server. So it is, yeah, so I created a claims struct over here. This claims struct is our payload. So if I close this thing, you can see I'm just filling in the details. Claims subject is user ID that I recently created, an expiration time that I already created that is valid up to 2 days only. I have audience. Currently it's Vipin, issuer Vipin, and issued at is the current timestamp. Okay. Now encode is the function provided by that create that I can create. I'm passing all the three things. A default header that will add the type of JWT and it will use the algorithm of HS 256. A claims is our payload that I already have, but why use JWT on Rust? It's not using JWT on Rust. It's about using JWT on authentication for authentication on HTTP server, just to authenticate a request on protected routes on HTTP server. I mean, there is no need, of course. You cannot. I mean, you can always do things without JWT. All right, and this is encoding key. Now encoding. This is the signature, and it takes a encoding key. We'll use this encoding key, which we fetched from the env variable. All right. So this will generate our token, and I'll pass this token on the response. Now let's see what happens if I call this API. If I go here, and this is the body, right? And if I just minimize this thing, now let me just call the send. I need to run it. Yes, sir. Okay. The server is running. If I send it, now you can see on the logs it says my post request is this auth. Okay. The request completed successfully. That was the log. So a log middleware is acting, and on the postman I can see user registered and token generated. So this is the JWT token that is being created by that thing that we wrote. All right, now let's see. Now validate this thing. If I copy this over here and I'll pass this thing, I'll paste it over here. uh, let's copy this thing. I'll paste it over here. Okay, let me just remove this string. It says a JWT is valid but a invalid signature. Why invalid signature? Because it has already a value of this thing. So it is supposed, to make all these thing signature valid, I need to use the exact same password, which we will not use. So don't worry about it. It's a perfectly valid JWT. As you can see, I can see all my detail. The audience is Vipin, issuer is Vipin. I issued this JWT at the time. This you can see it's a I64 value. My subject is one, that is the user ID that I created and passed it from the repository function, and the expiration. Okay, so it's today is 23 and the expiration, as you can see, it's coming Monday August 25. So you remember we took the 2 days of expiry time, right? So it is perfectly going well. So you see the JWT token that we created is perfectly valid. Now how we can use this thing? Now that we have JWT token, if it was a front end, we could have saved it in HTTP only cookie, right? And when we make any request, if I go on the authorization or on the headers, I'll create something like this. I'll create a key value pair called authorization, and I will use bearer space and then my token. You see, this is what client will do. It will add that token on the header names authorization, and on the server I will fetch this authorization token. I will decode it and it will show the value. So yeah, this is what we did. It uses this thing, right? uh, Register. Now when I do a login, I will pass that token from that. No, on the login also it will create a token. So on the registration, why did I create a registration token on registration? Because you don't need to go to login. Then once you registered, you can directly access the protected routes now. So once you register to an application, you directly get in the application, right? You don't redirect it to a login page. Once you registered already, it will not ask you to log in again. It will directly land you to the another application, irrespective if if there are other requirements, like the admin needs to validate a user or something like that, then it needs to go to login again or wait for the approval of that account. Hmm. Yeah, so that's what we did on today's desktop stream. Amazing, we have 29 people watching and we have 6 likes. 14 of you can make it to 20, so guys, come on, do that. Come on, come on. So now, how do we create a hash in this thing, right? So if I go onto register user, I can see this hash I'm passing it random, right? So instead I should create another thing. Your session is stateless. Do you also save taken in DB? No, no, I'm not saving tokens in DB. These tokens will be saved on client side on their browser, HTTP only cookie. So if the token is not present, they will force to log in, and once they log in, that token will be saved on their devices, and with each request that token will be passed, and once the token expired, a refresh token will be created. That needs to be implemented on the auth middleware. So auth middleware is, we have to implement fetching the token, validating the token. If the token is expired, we need to refresh the token. So this thing has to be done. So what do you suggest? Should we like save this thing? So as you can see, I'm passing a random string, and I'm, you know, showcasing it as a hash created of the password. But we should not do it. We should create a hash here, and then we'll send it. And how do we do it? Uh, Maybe on the, if I go on the utility, on the JWT implementation, maybe I could create a function, uh, get hash. So here is my password, right? And it will return a string. We'll see the type. I'm not sure the type will be string or something. Uh, so this hashing will also need an encryption key, right? So we'll say .env .ok, and then I'll have let me just put it up so that you guys can have a look. I'll say let hash key equal to env but I'll say hash key is not present. Right, I have this hash key now. I'm using another crate to hashing. If you are familiar with Node.js, a package, it's called bcrypt. So there is another crate on the Rust that is also named bcrypt. So I use that crate to create a hash out of it, of a password. So let's go over here. I'll say bcrypt, and let's see this thing, bcrypt. It has simply two functions, that is hash and verify, that we can do. We'll use default cost here and hash verify these two functions and a default this thing. So let's do this thing. I'll say let hash equals hash of bcrypt. It need a password and a cost. So the password is already up there, and the cost I'll use default cost. All right, what does it return? It return a result, right? So probably I can say something like this. I'll say if it's proper hash, then it will return then it will return a hash, and if it's an error, then it should it should throw an error from here. So we can say, let's see for now. I'll say error info. uh, error occurred, and I will have an error over here. And I'll do return error. So it's the error will be of bcrypt, right? I need a semicolon, so I'll do this thing, and found bcrypt error. It says it's an string, so I'll pass bcrypt error from here. Of course, you find a unit type. Maybe I should println, or maybe use info to check the hash and return the hash. Is it a string? Expected this, found this, so I'll do okay hash. It says mismatch type. But it's not okay though. What do you think, guys? I need to it says it needs a result file, so whether it would be an e, maybe I could do this. Now I need to have hash key used, right? Hash, I didn't use any hash key. I'm just wondering why didn't it used any hash key. It should use, right? Because okay, again it should not. Why? Because it's a single process. It should not be it's not a reversible process, so it uses its own algo, so we don't need to pass that key over here. So I only need a default course and the password, and I'll have the hash. I'll check it over here if the info is this, and I will has to over here I'll say let hash equals get hash, and I'll have the password as payload dot sec secret. uh, Again it is returning a result, right? I'll say hash. So instead I'll pass a hash over here, hash. So I only need this thing. Maybe I could see like this, let hash, let I'll say sec equals payload dot sec, and I can simply use sec over here. But again this will throw an error. Why? Because I'll have to do this, and I need to yes, but again this will throw an error. I think it takes nothing, that is fine. So yes, we created a function that will create a hash. Now let's see if the hash is being created. Yes, Phoenix and Vim. Yes, Indresh, I did that. Hemant, how are you going to implement jot in Rest? I'm going to implement are you asking about that proper jot? Like, are you thinking that I'm implementing a jot from scratch? No, I'm just implementing that protocol, that how do we utilize the tokens and all, how we create a jot token, how we maintain it, how we are going to use it on query. That's it. Rust doc for jot. Yes, if you go into the crates.io, you will see a crate there called JSON web token. You will see a documentation there. Otherwise, there are articles. If you are asking that proper, is there any proper full length like SDK kind of thing? That how do we use any SDK or something like that available? I don't think. Now let's see what hash do we get if I again, you know, let's do this thing. Maybe I should I pass the hash on the API response as well? No, we'll see it over here. Let's do this thing first. All right, now let's hit send. The request has been completed. So this is our hash, if you can see. $2b $12 $cw280 dot s blah 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 up to this. So this is the hashed password. Now instead of saving password, we'll save this thing to the database. So now this is the updated thing. So yes, that is it. This is how you hash the password. This is how you implement your tokens in rest. uh, come on guys. We need 13 more likes. So this is what I did on the desktop stream. Okay, how's your Saturday going, guys? Is everything good? How's your Saturday going? Not bad, just making Vercel clone. Ooh, nice. That is good. That is good. That is good, Hemant. Uh, Just asking as a college grade, how hard is it to get a job nowadays as fresher off campus? It is hard, pretty hard. I've seen people. So I mean, if you have skills, then you can definitely. Yeah, but it is hard. Yeah. Why are you not moving? I'm just surfing Twitter, watching some memes like this. Man. Oh. So let me show you one thing. I'm watching this. See. So I'm surfing Twitter side by side. All right, so I think that is it. That's what we did on this stream, on like desktop stream. I'll see you next time. Ayo. Yes. All right. That is it. See you later, guys. Uh, you can see the code base on like that is pinned on chat, and then we can, next time on the desktop stream, you guys can do code along with me. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Thank you very much for coming on this stream. If you have any questions, then I'm here. Okay, then. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Work hard, play hard. Bye bye.